Hello and welcome to the EVA Media World of Business Aviation podcast. I'm Paul Eden, editor of EVA Magazine, and as ever, thank you for joining us. This time around, we have Robert Plhak as our guest. He's CEO at VOO, which I'm going to describe as a charter platform, but I'm sure he'll tell us much more about in a moment. So welcome, Robert.
Hello, pleasure being here. Thank you for the invitation.
Hey, no worries. Thanks so much. So at this point, I normally say to people, I'll give you a 3-minute pitch. Tell us about your product, about your company, whatever it is. I'm going to give you, I think, 4.5 minutes because your product really is more, I think, than just a charter platform. And if I can be honest, sometimes I see these platforms or these apps and they all look to me like a kind of a different window into the same thing. But yours, I think, is really quite different to that, isn't it? So please do tell us all about it.
Thank you very much. I'll try to make it as short as possible and as brief as possible.
Well, no worries.
So, VOO is a software. It's an evolution of what already existed. So I have a background in business aviation charter for many, many years, almost 20. And I found the situation, the status quo not satisfying. This is one of the reasons. So what we do is, it's an evolution of what already existed. It's a revolution in the business aviation industry. If you remember those days, there was the Air Charter Guide, the book. Then there was a digital company making this book digital with all the positionings of the aircraft and a bit of pricing and so on. Yeah. But no software so far made it really to a booking platform. So VOO is the world's first B2B booking platform that allows you to book between broker and operator a private jet, a business aircraft. Right. So it's nothing about requests, no quoting, no requesting. It's just for bookings. And since June 24, we also have the instant booking button. We already received 2 awards for the world's first B2B booking platform and for the first instant booking platform. So this is something we are very proud of. It helps a broker to get into a charter contract with an operator. So the whole search and book is very easy, like you are used to do it when you book a British Airways flight from London to New York, for example. You search for what is available. You are sure that what the search result shows is feasible. You simply book it and you can also pay it. This is optional. This is not necessary on VOO, for example. In this regards, we are not taking care of feasibility checks and everything that comes after the contract is made, when the operator starts to work on overflight permits, PPRs, landings and all of that, finding out that the crew is not available. So we are taking care of all the information that the operator provides us. And with a smart and very intelligent, based on experience and industry knowledge, calculation methodology, we are able to provide an available aircraft with a bookable price, but we are, of course, depending on the information that the operator puts in.
Sure, of course.
We are not taking care of the organization of the flight management and so on is nothing that we do, but we are working on functionalities. They are in progress right now that will help in the second half of the year, end of the year maybe, a broker to have a good overview of what is already organized on the operator side. It's like a checklist, more or less.
Yeah, sure.
And we will launch at Air Charter Expo the empty leg feature and functionality.
Right. Okay. I'll come on to Air Charter Expo in a moment, but I just wanted to kind of clarify really from my own mind there. So in the past, people have said, here's what we've been doing for the last 30 years to charter an aircraft. Let's digitize it. But you've said, these are the things that need to be done. Let's make a digital platform for that. You've not taken the old way and made it digital. You've taken a completely new digital approach from scratch and created this new platform. Yeah. Right. Okay. So it is a step change in how that works. Let's talk then a little bit about the Air Charter Expo. So we're speaking here a couple of weeks ahead of it. It's coming up on the 10th of September. And I know it's a particularly important event for VOO. You'll be coming over, I guess, 2 or 3 of you, setting up a booth there in the hangar at Biggin Hill. Why is it so important to you?
First of all, it's the first show in our target region, which is Europe and North Africa, Middle East, and so on. Yeah. After the summer break, after everybody was super busy during peak season, The UK market is quite big compared to rest of Europe. The importance of the Air Charter Expo, organized by Air Charter Association, is also something that attracts us, of course. It's growing, it's expanding since the BACA days.
Mm.
Lots of changes were made. So it's a very important event for us. We're happy to have our booth there. It's number 81. And we also do a roadshow afterwards. So we are already organizing some meetings afterwards to meet some brokers and operators in the UK the days afterwards.
Right. And you said you're launching a new feature, a new function there within the platform.
Correct, yeah.
Right. Okay. So empty legs, I think you said?
Yeah, we have all the information. And to be fully transparent and honest with you right now, this is something I never wanted to do because the system is that smart
Right.
that already existing empty sectors are considered in the calculation with a discount. So we
Okay.
take advantage of what is already there. We
Yeah.
discount the ferry sectors that we do not need, or the routing change that we can do. So
Mm.
whatever an operator would do manually when offering you a flight is done here automatically. And it makes no sense to me to search for or to get a long list of empty legs available when there is a smart system that shows you with your search result, your search with the request that you do more or less, what is already available because it's priced, it's already
Mm.
discounted.
Yeah.
But the market wants that. We do that. No worries. It's maybe a transition
Yeah. Sure.
period from the traditional way to what we do, and it
Yeah.
makes the things easier for people to see that yes, we have that empty leg feature. Yes, I can do a normal search, or I can go through the list, and I can also search within that list. So this is what we do more or less right now.
Right. Okay. Okay. That's all good. Well, hopefully we'll see you there at the show.
Of
Um,
course.
you mentioned that you have a number of years experience in the business aviation industry. So let's, if we may, explore those years. I think most of it has been kind of in the sort of charter and management kind of areas of business aviation. Is that true?
Yeah, I started my career in a totally different sector out of the
Right.
industry, in cargo transportation and logistics. So this is
Okay.
my background.
Right.
Um, I didn't have a university degree at this time, so I learned the job
Right.
as a young man, and
Oh,
then 2006 started with a at those days well-known operator in Austria, in a charter sales department. So this is where it all began. Later on, from the very beginning, Avconjet 2007. I
wow.
was responsible for various projects in those companies, new AUCs, charter, of course, direct clients,
Yeah.
um, key accounts, and so on and so forth. And
Right.
2010 started my own charter company with all the experience and knowledge that I had so far.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So, what was that first step into aviation? What got you into that industry in the first place?
Um, I, I always liked
Right.
aircraft, so I was addicted to aviation somehow, but I had no touch points in my professional
Okay.
environment at these days.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine introduced me to somebody who sold propeller aircraft,
Oh,
and
really?
she then moved to that operator selling private jets, and they had a demand in charter sales, and she said, "You already organize cargo transports." Internationally. So charter, business aviation charter should be easy for you. So I got an offer. I tried it. I wanted a change at this time. So I was hungry and young for new challenges. It was a challenge, but it
Mm.
was, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
what, I stuck more or less.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So as a
needless
child,
to-
was aviation something of interest as a child as well, or was it just as you got a little bit older?
of course, it was a childhood experience for me.
Right.
When you, I don't know if you when I was a young boy watching the first time Top Gun, for example.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1986. I remember it well. Yes.
You're right.
And am I right to think you grew up in the Netherlands?
No, Austria.
Oh, you grew up in Austria. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I
I
was
didn't.
born in Vienna,
Right.
raised in Vienna, and then moved south of Vienna, where I still live in that area, 50 kilometers in the south. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. So Austria, I feel not a massive aviation country, but still you've had some interesting aviation there. Certainly as you were growing up, you've had what we think Saab Drakens, for example, the Air Force was flying, I think. Typhoons now, of course. Lots of helicopters. So plenty of aviation as you were growing up for you to see around the place.
Yeah, and there is maybe you know Diamond Aircraft.
Yes, of course.
They have the headquarters and their manufacture building very close to where I lived, where I grew up. And there was the air show, which is now in Zeltweg at the Red Bull Ring, more or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
So this was previously in Wiener Neustadt, the city where I live in. And I could sit in my garden with my parents or lay in the pool and watch all the aircraft flying around, helicopters and all of that. So yeah, very early childhood memories.
Nice. Okay. So we have to go from there really to the big question, which is, have you got a favorite aircraft and why is it your favorite?
Yeah, I never really thought about that question,
Tough one.
but as I already said, Top Gun was
Yeah.
a big thing these days. So
Yeah.
the F-14 Tomcats, of course, is
Right.
something special, and the other one, the MiG-29,
Yeah.
something that I really like. If you remember, in the 80s, there was Airwolf,
Yes.
um, with the Bell 222 helicopter,
Yep.
the
Yep.
black one.
Yep.
Of course, the Concorde is an aircraft that already fascinated me,
Mm.
but really pretty, and I'm happy that I could fly on one of these a few times. Is the jumbo jet, the 747
Yeah.
from Boeing.
Yeah.
First aircraft I flew with some friends, pilot friends, was a Cessna 172.
Of course.
So I have good
Yep.
experience with that aircraft as well.
Yeah.
But from a charter perspective, I would say that the best aircraft in business aviation was the Challenger 300 in
Mm.
terms of price performance
Right.
ratio.
Yeah.
But now I would say it's the Latitude.
That's really interesting because when I ask people what's the
Yeah,
best aircraft to charter, they almost always say Challenger 300 or they choose one of the citations. Almost
yeah.
always. That's really interesting. Okay, so those favorite aircraft then, Tomcat, well, obviously, I mean, anyone who saw Top Gun, obviously, it's a great aeroplane, been gone a
Yeah,
while, but a great aeroplane. You
I
mentioned the
agree.
747, of course, the classic, and Concorde, and you also mentioned Airwolf. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, I was in a simulator with the guy who arranged the flying and the stunts for Top Gun Maverick.
Okay.
We
Wow.
were in Phenom 300 simulator. I mean, you'll be finding out about this in a future podcast, but his father flew Airwolf in the
Really?
movies. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
He flew
Wow,
it
that's
in the movie.
amazing.
Isn't it incredible? I was like,
Yeah,
what?
that's
What?
incredible.
He was like, no, no, that was my dad. That wasn't me. We're not talking about my dad. But I was just like, whoa, that is awesome. So I'm pleased that someone else actually remembers Airwolf. It was just fabulous. Black and white Bell 222, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
that's
Well,
amazing.
it's yeah, I mean, that's the thing with aviation though, isn't it? You meet these incredible people with these connections and it's just so privileged, I feel. I have to ask you as well about the picture behind you, which is obviously a DC-3. Is that just a nice picture or is that another favorite as well?
No, no, I wanted to have something for my home office. I'm right now at home and not in
Right.
our office in Graz, where the
Yeah.
headquarters of VOO is. I wanted something for a nice background, and I
Mm.
didn't want to have, I don't know, super tech, I don't
Mhm.
know, business jet. I got something from Dassault and Gulfstream and whatever, but I
Mm.
wanted to have something with more style, I would say,
Yeah.
more character.
Yep.
And this is the reason for this. I searched long for such a picture and I found one. I'm
Mm.
happy that it's this one. Yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, and it's timeless as well, isn't it? Timeless and
it
classic
is.
and
Yeah.
been around for 80 years and probably be around for another 80 as well. So great choice. Okay. So we have
Thank you.
just a little while left. So I'm going to ask you another tricky one, which is if we
Okay.
look back across aviation, it could be the present, it could be in the distant past, it could be any of that. Is there a personality that you would particularly like to meet, and why would you choose to spend, I don't know, half an hour having a coffee with them?
Okay. I already had the chance to talk to Eric Lindbergh.
Right.
That was interesting. But if you ask me whom I really would like to meet in person, this is, of course, the aviator, Howard Hughes.
Ah,
Entrepreneur, pioneer, aviation, addicted,
yeah.
big in the film industry as a
Mm,
producer and director.
yeah.
So I think this is somebody, you can think about him whatever you want. He was definitely a difficult person,
Mm,
but I think an interesting one to talk
yeah.
to. Yeah,
Absolutely. He would have loved Top Gun, wouldn't he?
for sure,
He'd
for
have
sure.
loved that, the movie.
But it
So
would be a totally different movie if he was the producer.
it would. That is very true. That's very true indeed. Yes, that's right. So okay. So we had a wonderful conversation there, but I just want to go back and recap on the show because I know the show,
Yeah,
the ACE show, is really important for you, the Air Charter Expo. You said you are booth number 81, I think.
yeah.
Proves I was listening. That's good.
We're
You
at the corner to the Falcon 6X, on the
okay?
left part of the show. Yeah,
Right,
and
okay. Falcon 6X, good looking aeroplane. I mean, that could be another
yeah,
favorite, couldn't it? I mean, got that.
I thought about Dassault products, but
Yeah.
as I said, in terms of price performance ratio,
Ooh, we'll have to get someone on from Dassault, have a conversation with them, obviously. But anyway, okay. So booth
from a
81.
charter perspective, sorry.
From a charter perspective, of course,
From-
we get that. Not a problem at all. So really, Robert, on behalf of everyone at VOO, we'd love people to come along and visit you. You've got a new function you're showing there, but also you're then going on tour like a rock star with your product around the country as well, which is brilliant. So really all we've got time for. Thank you so very much. That's been wonderful. Thanks to Robert and thanks to everyone for tuning in and listening. If you've got any suggestions for the future for other guests or things we could do differently, please let us know. For the meantime, Robert, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, and see you at ACE in just 2, 3 weeks from now.
Absolutely. Thank you.